All right, so have you ever worked on like a big project and wished you could just hit undo? Like not just for a typo, but like rewind to last week's version?
Yeah, I've heard of
That's
that.
kind of the magic behind version control. And today we're doing a deep dive on it. A deeper dive than like your average what is Git tutorial.
Man, deeper.
We've got some excerpts from Atlassian's guide, of course, but we want to go beyond that,
Right.
You probably already know that version control is useful,
Mm.
but we're going to try to figure out why it's practically a superpower for software teams and even, for people working on their own.
Yeah, it's not even just about fixing mistakes,
Right.
though that is a big part of it. It's more about understanding how software evolves.
Hmm.
Imagine a team of developers all working on the same project. Without version control, it'd be like trying to write a novel with everyone typing on the same document at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Just chaos.
Total disaster. I can just imagine like lost changes, conflicting code, bug hunts that feel like finding a needle in a haystack.
Exactly. And then version control comes in. It's like a referee enters the ring. It gives you this structured way to track every single change. Who made it, when they made it, and most importantly, why they made the change.
Whoa, the why is so important. Yeah.
This detailed history isn't just about, like, pointing fingers when something breaks. It's about understanding how that project evolved over time and making informed decisions for, future development.
So it's like having a blueprint of the whole construction process, not just the finished building?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. But Atlassian's guide mentions a few benefits that are more than just like, keeping things organized, like branching and merging. That just sounds like straight out of sci-fi.
It's more science than fiction, thankfully. Branching is like, it's like creating a parallel universe for your code.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to add a new feature to an app. With branching, you can create a separate copy of the code base, a safe space to experiment without impacting that main app. You can try out different approaches, make mistakes, and refine your ideas without, breaking that live version. And when you're finally happy with the new feature, merging brings it back into that main project seamlessly.
Oh, so it's like faster development, safer experimentation. It sounds like branching isn't just a feature, it's like a whole different way of working.
It completely changes the dynamic of a team. It empowers developers to take risks, to innovate, and to push boundaries. They know they have a safety net to catch them if things go wrong.
And speaking of safety nets, Atlassian also highlights traceability as like a key benefit. It's not just about knowing what changed, it's about knowing why.
Think of it as a detective's case file. With version control, every change, or commit as it's called, is documented with a message explaining the reasoning behind it. It's like leaving breadcrumbs for yourself or for others so you can follow and understand the thought process behind each decision.
That sounds incredibly useful, especially when you're trying to track down a bug.
Oh, yeah?
It's not just some random line of code, it's part of a story.
Exactly.
And you can see who wrote it, when they wrote it, and why. And that gives you like valuable context for debugging.
And it's invaluable when you're revisiting older code, maybe to add a new feature or fix a bug. You can follow the trail of commits, understand the decisions made by previous developers, and avoid repeating past mistakes.
Yeah.
It's about learning from history, not just repeating it.
So it's pretty clear that version control is vital, but we keep hearing Git thrown around a lot. Is Git just one type of version control system, or is there something special about it?
Git is a specific type of version control system, and it's become, the industry standard for a reason. What sets it apart is its distributed nature.
Okay.
Unlike traditional systems that rely on a central server, Git gives every developer a complete copy of the entire project history.
So instead of everyone being tethered to a central hub, it's more like everyone has their own copy of the entire project library.
That's an excellent analogy. And this has profound implications. Imagine, working offline, committing changes locally, and then syncing up with the team when you're back online. Think of the flexibility this offers, especially for remote teams or developers working in areas with unreliable internet access.
Right. Yeah, that's a game changer, especially nowadays with remote work and all the global collaboration.
Yeah.
But wouldn't having multiple copies of the whole project history lead to like confusion and conflicts?
That's where Git's clever design comes in.
Yeah.
It's really good at tracking changes, even across, multiple copies of the repository. And it provides tools for merging these changes seamlessly. It'll even flag any conflicts that need to be addressed.
So this is where it gets really interesting because this distributed aspect isn't just a technical quirk, it has like a huge impact on how teams actually work together. We'll get more into that in a bit.
Absolutely. Git's distributed nature fosters a more collaborative and flexible work environment. But it also comes with its own set of challenges and best practices, which we'll unpack in the next part of our deep dive.
Before we go there, though, I got to ask, we've talked about Git being free and open source. Is that just about the cost, or is there something deeper going on there?
It's definitely more than just saving money. Being open source means that the code behind Git is available for anyone to inspect, modify, and contribute to. This fosters like a community-driven approach to development, ensures that the tool is constantly evolving and improving. It also means there's a ton of resources, tutorials, and online communities dedicated to helping people learn and use Git effectively.
So it's almost like a movement, not just a piece of software.
Yeah,
Interesting to think about how that open source philosophy might have helped with, like, Git's widespread adoption.
there's definitely a connection there.
Yeah.
But beyond the technical and philosophical aspects, I'm also fascinated by the human element of version control, particularly with a system as collaborative as Git.
That's a great point. We've talked about the technical benefits, but how does version control and Git in particular impact the dynamics within a development team? Like, how does it change the way people work together?
That's a question that's definitely worth exploring in more detail. Let's dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back, and we're ready to, like, explore the human side of Git.
The human side.
Yeah. It's easy to get lost in all the technical details, but,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, software is built by people,
Right.
and Git really changes how teams work together.
It does. You hit the nail on the head there. One of the most significant impacts is like this psychological safety net that it gives you. With Git, developers know they can experiment freely and try different approaches, even make mistakes, without the fear of like breaking the whole project.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly, like, freeing.
It is.
I can imagine it just fosters this culture of experimentation and innovation.
Mm,
No one's afraid to try something new because they know they can just always go back if it doesn't work out.
exactly. It encourages a growth mindset where failure is seen as a learning opportunity, not a career-ending catastrophe.
Yeah.
And this shift in mindset has like ripple effects throughout the team.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, each person feeling safe. It's about building trust within the team.
Yeah.
If everyone knows they can rely on Git to, like, catch their mistakes and keep the project stable, it just creates a much more relaxed and collaborative environment.
Absolutely.
Er-
And this sense of trust is essential for effective teamwork. It lets team members focus on like solving problems and building great software instead of worrying about stepping on each other's toes or causing irreparable damage.
So Git's not just a technical tool, it's like a cultural catalyst. It changes the way teams interact, communicate, and collaborate.
Exactly. And this is especially clear in the way that Git makes code reviews easier. Because each developer has their own local copy of the project, they can make changes and submit them for review before they're integrated into the main code base.
Oh, that sounds like a great way to catch errors early and ensure code quality. Instead of finding bugs in production, you're catching them before they even make it to the main project.
Exactly. Code reviews become a collaborative learning experience where team members can share knowledge, identify potential issues, and make sure everyone's sticking to the same coding standards. It's like quality control baked right into the development process.
And this collaborative approach goes beyond just catching errors.
Yeah.
It also fosters a sense of, like, shared ownership and responsibility for the code. Everyone has a chance to contribute, give feedback, and learn from each other.
That's a key point. It breaks down those silos between developers, encourages mentorship, and creates a more, close-knit team where everyone feels invested in the project's success.
So Git isn't just a version control system. It's a platform for collaboration, knowledge sharing, and continuous improvement.
It's a powerful tool for building better software, but also for building better teams.
All this talk about Git's collaborative features kind of makes me think about the challenge of resolving conflicts. We mentioned this a little earlier, but what happens when two developers make changes to the same file and, potentially introduce conflict in code?
That's a very common scenario, especially in larger teams. But luckily, Git's really good at detecting and managing these conflicts. When you try to merge branches that have conflicting changes, Git will highlight the specific lines of code that need your attention.
So it's not just like blindly overwriting one set of changes with another. It's a much more like thoughtful process.
Exactly. It's about understanding the intent behind each change and finding the best way to integrate them. making sure that final result is coherent and functional. And this often involves, communication and collaboration between the developers involved.
So it sounds like these conflict resolution situations can actually be valuable learning
Good
opportunities.
for sure.
Developers have to communicate clearly about their code, understand different approaches to solving a problem, and work together to find the best solution.
Absolutely. It's a chance to practice those essential communication and collaboration skills that are so important for effective teamwork.
So Git's conflict resolution tools aren't just about fixing technical problems. It's also about making human interaction easier and fostering a more collaborative and productive development process.
It's about turning potential friction points into opportunities for growth and learning.
This is all sounding incredibly powerful, but I'm imagining there's a learning curve to mastering these commands and workflows.
There is. But the good news is there are tons of resources available to help you learn Git, including that Atlassian tutorial we mentioned earlier.
And once you get the hang of the basics, the benefits are definitely worth the effort.
Absolutely. It's like learning any new language. It might seem scary at first, but once you get the fundamentals, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
We've covered a lot here, from the technical details of Git to its impact on teamwork and collaboration. But I keep thinking about this idea of Git being distributed.
Hmm.
Can you give a concrete example of how that works in a real development scenario?
Sure. Let's say you've got a team developing a website. You have a designer working on the visual layouts, a front-end developer building the interactive elements, and a back-end developer creating the server-side logic.
Okay, yeah. Pretty typical setup for a web development project.
It is. Now, each of these developers can create their own local branch in Git, representing their specific area of work. The designer can experiment with different layouts, the front-end developer can build out the user interface, and the back-end developer can focus on the server-side functionality.
So they're all working in parallel without stepping on each other's toes or worrying about breaking each other's code.
Exactly. And as they make progress, they can commit their changes locally, building up a history of their work. Then, when they're ready to share their work, they can push their changes to a shared repository, kind of like a central hub where everyone's code comes together.
And this brings us back to code reviews, right?
Yes,
Before those changes get integrated into the main project, the team can, look them over, provide feedback, catch any potential issues.
precisely. And because Git tracks every change so carefully, it's easy to see what's been modified, who made the changes, and why. This level of transparency and accountability is really important for maintaining code quality and making sure everyone's on the same page.
It sounds like Git's distributed nature doesn't just make parallel development possible, but also makes code integration and review more structured and collaborative.
You got it. It's a powerful combo that lets teams work more efficiently, communicate better, and deliver higher quality software.
I see how Git's technical features and this distributed nature work together to create a more human-centered development process.
Right.
It's about empowering individuals, building trust within teams, and encouraging collaboration and continuous improvement.
It's about recognizing that software development is a human endeavor, and that the tools we use should support and enhance that human element.
This has been super insightful, but before we move on, there's one question that keeps coming back to me.
Okay.
We've talked about Git being great for teams, but what about solo developers? Does Git still offer benefits even if you're working on your own projects?
That's a great question. And the answer is a definite yes. It might seem counterintuitive at first, but even solo developers can get a lot out of using Git. It's like having a safety net, a record keeper, and a personal coding assistant, all in one.
Interesting. I can see the safety net part. Being able to experiment without the fear of messing things up is just as helpful for solo developers as it is for teams.
Yeah.
But what about this idea of Git as a record keeper?
Think about all the times you've lost track of changes or wished you could roll back to a previous version.
Oh, yeah.
Or just wanted to understand how your code has changed over time. Git gives you this detailed history of every single change. It makes it easy to track your progress, understand your past decisions, and go back to any point in the project's history.
It's like having a time machine for your code.
Exactly.
No more digging through old files or trying to remember what you did a week ago. You can literally rewind to any point and see exactly how your code looked.
It's a powerful tool for learning and reflection. By studying your past commits, you can identify patterns in your coding style, see how your skills have improved, even pinpoint those, moments of brilliance. Or, let's be honest, those head-scratching blunders we all make.
So it's about self-awareness as much as it's about version control.
Yeah.
You're not just managing your code, you're managing your own learning process.
That's a great way to put it. And this historical record can also be really valuable for documentation. If you ever need to explain your code to someone else, or even to yourself months later, you've got this detailed log of every decision, every modification, complete with the reasons behind it.
It's like a built-in audit trail for your whole project. No more trying to decipher cryptic comments or retrace your steps months later. It's all right there, neatly organized and easy to find.
Right. And don't forget about the benefits of branching, even for solo developers.
Hmm.
Imagine working on a new feature, but you're not sure which way to go. With branching, you can create separate branches for each approach, experiment, and then choose the one that works best. And if one approach just leads nowhere, you can just get rid of that branch without affecting your main code base.
So it's like having a sandbox for each idea, letting you explore different possibilities without cluttering your main workspace.
Precisely. And branching can also be helpful for managing different versions of your project, like a stable release version and a development version where you're working on new features.
Okay, so even for solo developers, Git has a lot of benefits. From that safety net and historical record to more efficient workflows and experimental approaches. It's not just about managing multiple contributors, it's about managing complexity, no matter the team size.
It's about embracing best practices that make for a more organized, efficient, and ultimately more enjoyable coding experience, whether you're part of a big team or working solo.
This deep dive into version control in Git has been fascinating. We've covered so much. From the basic concepts to Git's distributed nature and its impact on developers and teams.
And we've seen how Git's changed software development.
Okay, so we've spent like a good chunk of this deep dive exploring how Git empowers teams. But what about the lone wolf coder? The solo developer working on their passion project in their basement. Does Git still have value if you're like your own team?
Absolutely. It might seem kind of counterintuitive at first, but even solo developers can get a lot out of using Git. Think of it as having a safety net, a super meticulous record keeper, and a personal coding assistant, all rolled into one.
Okay, I like that. I can see the safety net thing being able to just experiment without the fear of breaking things. I mean, that's got to be just as valuable for solo developers as it is for teams, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But what about that whole idea of Git as a record keeper?
Well, think about all the times you've, lost track of changes, or maybe wished you could just roll back to an older version, or just wanted to see how your code evolved.
Happens all the time.
Git gives you this detailed history of every single change you've made, which makes it so easy to track your progress, understand your past decisions, and even go back to any point in the project's history.
So it really is like having a time machine for your code.
Exactly.
Wow. No more digging through all those old files or trying to remember what you did last week. You can literally just rewind to any point and see exactly how your code looked.
It's really a powerful tool for learning and reflection, too. By studying your past commits, you can start to see patterns in your code and style, see how your skills have developed over time. You can even pinpoint those moments of, like pure brilliance. Or let's be honest, those head-scratching blunders that we all make.
Yeah, we've all been there. So I guess in a way it's about self-awareness just as much as it's about version control.
Good fun.
It's not just about managing code, it's about managing your own learning process.
That's a great way to put it. And this historical record can also be really valuable for documentation. Like if you ever need to explain your code to someone else, or even to yourself months later, you've got this detailed log of every decision, every modification, complete with, like, all the reasons why you did it.
It's like having a built-in audit trail for your whole project. No more trying to figure out those cryptic comments or retracing your steps months later.
Exactly. It's all right there, neatly organized and easy to access.
Makes sense. And don't forget those benefits of branching. Even for, solo developers, imagine you're working on some new feature, but you're not sure which way to go. With branching, you can create separate branches for each approach, experiment, and then pick the best one. If one approach leads to a dead end, you can just toss that branch without affecting your main code base.
Right. It's like having a sandbox for each idea, letting you explore those different possibilities without messing up your main workspace.
I like that analogy. So even for solo devs, Git has all these benefits. That safety net, the historical record, more efficient workflows, experimental approaches. It's not just about like managing multiple people. It's about managing complexity, no matter the team size.
It's about using the best practices that lead to a more organized, efficient, and ultimately more enjoyable coding experience,
Yeah.
whether you're on a huge team or working by yourself.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive into the world of version control in Git. We've covered so much, from those basic concepts to like the finer points of Git's distributed nature and how it impacts both developers and teams.
Yeah, we've seen how Git's changed software development by making collaboration easier, experimentation possible, and ultimately leading to higher quality software.
As we wrap up here, I keep thinking about something you said earlier. If version control is so powerful for software development, could its principles be used in other parts of life or work?
It's a question worth thinking about, right? Imagine using these version control ideas for writing a book, or composing music, or designing a building, or even, managing your personal finances.
Hmm.
That idea of tracking changes, branching out to explore different ideas, merging the best parts back into the main project,
It's a powerful concept.
it could have some pretty big implications across a lot of different fields.
It really shows the power of structured thinking and the importance of learning from your past choices. And maybe it's also a reminder that even in fields that seem, really different from software development, those principles of version control can still be useful. They can offer new insights and improve our creative and collaborative processes.
Maybe the biggest takeaway from our deep dive isn't just about mastering a tool like Git. Maybe it's more about adopt.
A mindset.
Yeah, a mindset that values transparency, iteration, and, the ability to learn and adapt as you go. It's about understanding that our best work usually comes from exploration, experimentation, and constantly refining what we've done.
That's something that applies to so much more than just coding, right?
Absolutely. It applies to life itself.
I love that. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. But as you go out there, whether you're building software or tackling any kind of complex project, keep those lessons of version control in mind. Embrace the power of tracking your progress, exploring different paths, and learning from your past decisions. And never underestimate the value of a well-placed undo button.
Couldn't have said it better myself.